Hi guys, and welcome to Escape Wheel Watch Reviews. My name is Steve, and today we're looking at the RMALTI RM006. So I got this watch from the RMALTI official store on AliExpress. I was offered a half-price discount on this thing, so I did get it for half price, but you guys know the deal by now. That's not going to sway my review one way or the other. The full retail price for this watch is $155 US. Make sure to check for the coupons though. There's always a coupon for these things. Currently I think it's like $11 off the watch, something like that. So yeah, keep that in mind before you pull the trigger. The watch comes in 8 or 9 different colorways, as you can see here. Not listed yet as the mother of pearl dial, and it also looks like they will have two-tone and full gold cases coming out as well. And also I just want to make note of the logo. So I know RMALTI isn't everyone's favorite brand, but you know, they do offer this in sterile dials. I believe they also offer dial customization, so keep that in mind. But if you do opt for the RMALTI branding, just keep in mind the kind of textile pattern dial. Those ones are applied logos. The sunburst, the solid color, and the mother pearl dial offer printed logos. So just keep that in mind. The watch case is made from 316L stainless steel. It has sapphire crystal, screw-down crown, screw-down case back, 100 meters of claimed water resistance. It's offered on a stainless steel bracelet here, as you can see, and it's powered by the Seiko NH35 automatic movement. So RMALTI is a newer brand on AliExpress. I reviewed and was really impressed by their RM001. I'll leave the link for that up here. So I had to check out some of their other watches, and again, I'm happy to say it's mostly positive. So I say we get right into the full review, but before we do a quick wrist check. Wearing the escapement time chronograph. I think I might have already been wearing this one and another one, so this one is coming up on the channel pretty soon, so keep an eye out for that one. All right, let's get to the dimensions. So it is listed as a 36mm watch. I'm getting 35.8 on diameter at a thickness of 12.2. Got 20mm lug width. Bracelet tapers down to 15.7 and back up to 18-ish at the clasp. We've got a lug tip to lug tip of 43.5. The end link to end link is 48.7 and sized up for my 7.5-inch wrist. It weighs 120-ish grams. So I think the size is really nice. I was surprised that it's actually under 36. It does feel like a pretty small watch, especially for my larger than average wrist. But I think for people with smaller wrists, this thing's going to be perfect. Really nice case shape. It's got a little bit of turn down to the lugs there, as you can see. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with the case. I'm pretty happy with the way it wears. It's been very comfortable and it looks good. Let's go outside and throw it on my wrist. Here we are on my 7.5-inch wrist, and as you can see, it wears pretty good. I mean, it feels a little small. I'm just kind of used to the 38, 39 millimeters, but I don't think it looks bad at all. Really do enjoy the style. Lots of play off of the bezel there. You can see the dial kind of in the shade here. It's kind of like a dark blue, steel blue kind of. It looks really, really good, I think. A decent curvature for this style of case as well. Bracelet is very comfortable. We'll get to that in a little bit. It feels very balanced on wrist. I think it looks good. What do you guys think? And getting it out into some direct sunlight here, this is where you can really see the dial kind of shine. It just kind of comes to life. It is absolutely gorgeous. Let's see if we can get some color for you. It's hard to film, but yeah, hopefully I can get some other shots for you just so you can kind of see the colors that this thing kind of turns into in the sun and in bright lights there. But yeah, it does look really good. What do you guys think? Plenty of AR coating as well. Very happy with that. Yeah, let's go throw it on some straps and then we'll get back to the review. And here we are on a gray suede strap. This one's lifted off of one of my Merkur watches, but I think that looks pretty darn good. This dial color is kind of hard to pair with, so yeah, just keep that in mind. But yeah, this actually looks good. What do you guys think? And here we are on a tan. This is a vintage leather. This will be down below. Yeah, looks pretty good. Again, this color is kind of hard to pair with. I'm not a huge fan of this combo, but yeah, I do think it looks pretty good. What do you guys think? And here we are on a single pass. They call this a sweat pant material from chinesewatches.com, and I think that looks pretty good. What do you guys think? And here we are on a kind of a lead gray nylon strap, 2 layers underneath. This is from CNS Watch Bands. Yeah, I do like the look of that. That strap kind of matches the dial perfectly, in my opinion. What do you guys think? I'm usually not a fan of these style of watches on this style of strap, but I actually think that looks pretty good. What do you guys think? Yeah, let's go back inside and let's get back to the review. All right, let's talk about the case finishing. So the case finishing is super simple. It is fully polished, as you can see here. Really nice polishing though. I see no issues with the polishing at all. Yeah, very happy with the case finishing on this thing. Again, super simple, polished sides. Flipping it over to the crown side here, you do have a signed crown there. It's got the RMALTI R on it, a little stylized R there. It's kind of cool. Different from their other crowns that I've seen so far, but I think it looks nice. Flipping it around to the case back here, you can see you've got a circular brushing on the bottom of the case. You've got a vertical brushing in the middle, polishing on the outside, kind of a coin edge style thing. Not a huge fan of these style of case backs. I wish they would just offer ones with simple notches. It's so much easier to get into. These ones are kind of hit and miss. You know, usually you have to get a ball of duct tape or one of the sticky balls to get it off. But yeah, it is what it is. I'm kind of expecting it in this style of watch. But yeah, I think they should just branch out and put a normal style case back on this. I would really appreciate it. But yeah, that's really my only complaint with the case finishing. This bottom edge here, it's nicely rounded and very comfortable. I have no issues with the comfort of this thing. The bezel itself, really nicely done. I'm not sure the method they use. I don't know if they kind of went with the Chronos style where they palladium and platinum plate a brass bezel. I think this one is just stainless steel, just from looking at it. It's not quite as shimmery as some of the other ones from Chronos and Iron Watch, but it definitely doesn't look bad at all in my opinion. I think it actually looks pretty good. It's nicely proportioned as well. The case, it doesn't look fat like I've seen on some other 36 millimeter watches in this style. So I think they really nailed the case. I think they nailed the proportions. I've been very happy with it. And yeah, I think it looks good. All right, let's talk about the crystal. First things first, we got to test this for sapphire. So sapphire crystal and sapphire cyclops. So that is nice to see that they did offer this with a sapphire cyclops. The cyclops on this thing is really nice. I'm going to get this the hands out of the way here real quick. So yeah, the sapphire cyclops is really nicely aligned. It is nicely magnified. I don't really see any AR coating. I think the crystal itself has AR coating on the underside clear, but it's not great AR coating, I'll say that. You do get some reflections here and there, but it's flat, so it's not that big of a deal. Definitely the date I've seen it and noticed that from time to time it is a little hard to read, but it is really nicely magnifying. Probably I'd say 2x, maybe a little bit more than 2x magnification. So pretty happy with the Cyclops on this thing. Pretty happy with the crystal in general. Like I mentioned, it is flat and it does sit ever so slightly above the bezel, as you can see there. But yeah, it's fine. It's not a negative. It's not a positive. It's just, you know, what I kind of expect from a crystal in this price range. I think they mentioned that it has AR coating on the underside, but I'm definitely not really seeing it. There's no blue tinge to it, that's for sure. So if it is there, it's clear AR and it's pretty light. So yeah, but again, it's never been a distraction other than that Cyclops at times. It's a little bit of a distraction. So yeah, just keep that in mind. It's a decent crystal though. Now let's talk about the dial on this thing. So this is the mother of pearl dial, and it's not quite available yet. At least I'm not sure why it's not. I asked if they would do it, and they did it for me. So I think this one will be coming pretty soon. I will contact them and make sure they get it listed. But it is offered in a bunch of different colors, a bunch of different textures. So go check that out. And I think they all look really good. I was struggling to pick one, but I did end up with this one. I think it looks really good. So you have applied indices at all the hour markers, even the date. As you can see right there, has a nice frame around it. So some people like that, some people don't. You know, being able to see that frame through the Cyclops, I don't mind it at all, but it's just something to take note. I think everything is aligned except the 12 and 6. I think they're off just a little bit. It's not something that I notice on a day-to-day basis like some of these watches that I get, but yeah, this one is just a hair off, I think. But I think overall, the fit and finish on this dial looks excellent. The handset is really nicely sized. I mean, the proportions are just, spot on, in my opinion, just spot on. Yeah, they look great. Sometimes you get these hands and they're a little thin. These ones are nice and bold. They got nice faceting. Good size lume plots on them as well. The double baton at 12 is just one solid piece there. And all the other ones are just single batons, nicely done, nicely sized, filled with BGW9 lume. I'm going to pop up a lume shot right now. And here you can see it against a couple other watches that are in very similar style to this one. And yeah, I mean, it holds its own. It's very solid lume, very good lume, a little bit brighter initially, and then it kind of all evens out at the end. I think it looks great, and I've got no issues with the lume on this thing, especially for this style of watch. Yeah, so let's talk about the movement in this thing. So I'm going to pop up my time grapher shot right here, and you can see this is the dial up position. It's running pretty fast at 25 plus, seconds a day. That's not great, but I will say throughout the, 3 or 4 days that I've been wearing this thing, it's actually only running 8 seconds a day. So I think it's just a positional thing. Once you get it on wrist and you're changing the, the angle of it and stuff, it kind of settles in and runs 8 seconds a day, which is about on par with what I've seen from other NH35s. So like it is the NH35, 21,600 beats per hour. It hacks, it hand winds, 40 hours of power reserve. It does pretty much everything you need it to do. It's a great movement. It's cheap. It's reliable, easy to service. All that fun stuff. Lots and lots of mod parts if you're into that too. So yeah, very happy with the movement in this thing. It's all operated by this 3 o'clock screw down crown with the RMALTI R. This is a little bit oversized crown as far as the length of it. I think they could knock it down a couple millimeters. I think diameter wise, I think it's fine, but nice and big and grippy. I've got no problems even with my gloves on. Nice smooth screwing in action, screwing out action. Nice satisfying pop out as well. This first position, hand winds it, feels very solid. Second position, changes the date. And again, the date is nicely aligned in there. Third position, hacks the movement, as you can see there. And this is where you set your time. And then pushing it in, it engages right away. No issues. Again, screwing in, even with my gloves on, not an issue with this one. Nice, big, grippy crown. Lots of good feedback through it as well. Very happy with the movement. Very happy with the crown. Although I think visually it's a little bit tall for this style of case. But other than that, though, it is really good. All right, so let's talk about the bracelet on this thing. So the bracelet is, again, pretty nice. It is a 5-link solid bracelet. So it has brushing on the outer links, polishing on the 3 middle links here. The polishing on the middle links is actually pretty good. This is where you kind of see brands cut corners, but RMALTI, I think, did a really good job on it. It's not perfect, but better than average in my opinion, especially for this price. Even the brushing is, again, really nice, satinized brushing. No issues with it. They are solid links, as you can maybe see here. Yeah, solid links. Screw pins for adjusting. I had no problems with adjusting it. Solid end links here. They are male end links, so you do have that protrusion a little bit there. And this is the older style end links here, where they don't flow into the case kind of like the modern day and kind of like what the Chronos does. The Chronos did it really well. That's my only real gripe about it. It's just a visual thing. These don't look bad. They don't look bad at all in my opinion. They are nice and solid in there as well. I've got no issues with the end links. It's a smaller watch, so it gets a little bit of a pass with the male end links. I do wish they would use female, but again, it's not a deal breaker in my opinion. They're nicely done. The bracelet is 20 millimeters. It tapers down to 16 millimeters at the clasp. The clasp is one of my favorite clasps. I've seen this on a couple other watches as well. Really simple to use, very simple to use. The top side here is brushed on the outers, polished in the middles. Again, nice polishing. Got no issues with the polishing. Polished on the sides here. You do have hidden micro adjusts, which we'll talk about in just a second, but nicely done. It's a little sharp on these corners, but not too bad. But yeah, it's easy to operate. You just lift up on this edge here and it kind of hinges on this little clip here, but nicely done. The polishing on the inside of these clasps, not great, but that's kind of what you expect at this price point. You don't ever see it, so it's not a big deal. The tolerances on this clasp are nice. Tolerances up here are, again, really nice. Very happy with this. So here you can see the hidden micro adjust, and they've got these little grooves here that kind of run to the pin slots, I guess. That kind of just aids in the the movement of that micro adjust. So yeah, nice to see that little attention to detail. They chose a good class for this one. I don't like hidden micro adjust, but at least this one, they're making it a little bit easier to adjust these things. I didn't have to adjust it, but I did mess around with it. I was able to do it pretty easy. So yeah, no issues with that, and no quick extension or anything like that. So you're just locked into those 3 micro adjusts there. But yeah, I think overall the bracelet is really nice. It's got enough flex in it. As you can see here, it's very comfortable. I've got no issues with the comfort of this thing. It's very fluid. It doesn't hang up or anything. Yeah, I've overall been very happy with the bracelet. I do wish they would kind of address the end link, just make it a female end link, or kind of do what Chronos does and kind of bring these links right into the case. I think that looks pretty good. But otherwise, I think the bracelet is very acceptable for the price. So there you go, guys. That is the RMALTI RM006. I gotta say, I'm pretty impressed again. RMALTI is one of these brands. I know not everybody likes the brand RMALTI. They're working on that, I think. But yeah, I don't mind the brand. It sounds fine when I say it. It just looks a little funny. It's missing an I in between the R and the M, in my opinion. But other than that, I mean, this is a very solid watch. Very nicely done, very nicely executed. And I think if you're looking for this style of watch and this size of watch, this is the one to get. Yeah, this is the one to get, in my opinion. It's really, really nicely done. Very, very happy with it. And yeah, I think you will be too. So if you guys are interested in this, I'll be leaving a link down below to the AliExpress store. Yeah, go and get one. I think they are excellent. Really happy with this. Kind of a sweet spot between, the Parnas and the Bleeger and something like a Chronos or St. Martin. Very happy with this watch. I think they did a really good job on it. So let me know what you guys think about this. Do you like it? You don't like it? Think it's overpriced? Don't like the name? I know you guys don't like the name. You don't have to tell me that you don't like the name. I got so many comments on my first review of the RM001 about the name. I know you guys don't like it. They know you guys don't like it. They are working on it, I promise you. It's just not as simple as just putting a name down. They've got to get one that's not taken already. So yeah, that's just something that you guys need to know. It's not as simple as just putting something down and being done with it. They got to make sure that it hasn't been taken, hasn't been used by somebody else, and there's a lot of names that have been used already. So yeah, they're kind of picking and choosing. I think RMALTI, RIMALTI, I believe that one is not taken, and I think that's kind of how they're leaning, but I really don't know. Again, it doesn't bother me at all. It at least sounds okay. It just looks funny. But yeah, so I think that's about it. I'm going to end my rant there, and thanks a lot for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next one. See ya.